DC News Now.
Montgomery County educators fed up with school budget cuts. I'll have the latest.
Tracking a warm-up this week, meteorologist Damon Matson will have your forecast.
Metropolitan Police investigating a quadruple shooting here in Southeast D.C. right next to an elementary school. How a police officer was also hurt on the way to the scene.
And don't let inflation change how you dress. Thrift store hacks to stretch your dollar. Also, a troubling trend, colon cancer growing among young adults. What's behind the boost in cases? That's in this week's What's Going Around.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Parents and teachers in Montgomery County are demanding the Board of Education and County Council stop budget cuts to the classroom. They plan on speaking at a rally in a few hours. And DC News Now's Jean-Marie Sase is in Silver Spring with a preview.
Montgomery County educators say the proposed budget cuts will remove nearly 300 jobs, which will make their jobs even more difficult and will also impact students. They say the best way to avoid this entire situation is to stop the budget cuts. Now, teachers with the Montgomery County Education Association are fed up. They say the recent $33 million school budget cut approved by the county council will lead to eliminating nearly 300 jobs. And that means increased class sizes, staff layoffs, and cuts to vital programs. Later today, educators are holding a rally in hopes of holding the school board and elected officials accountable to ensure the county has a quality school system. Just last month, teachers and parents protested at a school board meeting, pleading for the cuts not to be made.
The fewer adults there are in a building, the more there are safety concerns, the less individual attention kids get.
In a statement, the school system says a decision to reduce staff has no reflection on the performance or dedication of MCPS educators. The board appreciates all MCPS staff members for their unwavering commitment to the success of MCPS students. The board is scheduled to approve the final budget on June 11th. The rally will be held later today at 4:30 p.m. here at Veterans Plaza in downtown Silver Spring. Reporting in Silver Spring, Maryland, I'm Jean-Marie Sase, DC News Now.
All right, Jean-Marie, thank you. Meteorologist Damon Matson joining us with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, a comfortable start to the week. Well, will we see a change?
Yeah, Mark, it's definitely feeling great out there. I'll say that much. Coming off of the weekend here, we got a little bit of that change up after some very warm, humid, and stormy weather. It's been rather quiet. Look at those temperatures early this morning. Not too bad. Even a little chilly in parts of the DMV as it fell down into the 50s to the west. Some locations to the east, like the DC Metro, Annapolis, staying in the 60s. But yeah, all in all, you may have felt that crispness to the air as we started out the day today, and we're hoping to hold on to that for at least a few days as we begin this week. So far, it certainly has warmed back up again. We've reached 80 degrees in the district, 80 Waldorf and Fredericksburg, 70s as you go more north and west, but that comes along with that crispness still in the air. Humidity levels are staying low as we move forward throughout the rest of the day, so we will be making that jump up into the lower 80s across most of the region before the afternoon is done, but we're not really going to deal with much humidity at all. Now, the other thing we're watching here, it's been rather sunny to begin the day, but look at this, some clouds. They're going to start to pop back up as we go into the afternoon and evening, but could some of these clouds come along with a few spotty showers that we'll have to watch out for before the day is done? We'll be talking about that and more coming up, and a look at your full forecast here in just a bit.
Damon, thank you. An update this afternoon. A 14-year-old girl has died after she was shot nearly 2 weeks ago. Prince George's County say her name is Kamaya Farrell. Two other people, a man and a woman, also injured in that shooting. Their injuries are not considered life-threatening. Police say that Farrell and the woman were shot inside of an apartment on Atwood Street on May 31st. Farrell died on June 5th. A $25,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. Developing now, district police investigating a shooting that hurt 4 people, including a teenage girl. The shooting happened near the intersection of Minnesota Avenue, Naylor Road, and Southeast just after 6 last night. DC News Now's Liberty Zabala has more.
Well, we are right along Minnesota Avenue Southeast and Naylor Road, right next to Boone Elementary School. And this is where police say they found 2 men shot. And then they say 2 more victims showed up at the hospital. Metropolitan Police responded to the scene just after 6 p.m. Sunday night. They found 2 men with gunshot wounds along Minnesota Avenue Southeast and Naylor Road. Both were conscious and breathing. Police say 2 other victims then showed up at the hospital with gunshot wounds. They say those victims were a man and juvenile girl. Even on the way to the scene, an officer was hurt. Metropolitan Police say an officer got into a crash en route to the scene. They say the officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police released these photos of a vehicle they believe was connected to the shooting. The D.C. Police Union says this is now the 7th mass shooting in the district so far this year. We spoke with one woman who was fed up with the violence.
They have no remorse at all. It's devastating because it could have been any one of these kids. Walking home from school, coming to school, whatever.
Many parents here say it's very unsettling because today also is their child's prom. For now, in Southeast D.C., Liberty Zabala, D.C. News Now.
Liberty, thank you. Police say 2 people are injured after a shooting in Northwest near the U Street corridor. It happened on Vermont Street just before 3 Sunday morning. A man and a woman were taken to the hospital for their injuries. No word on their condition. DC News Now continues to be your local election headquarters. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signing a new executive order that he says will strengthen Virginia's voter rolls and ensure better data accuracy. The order signed last Friday changes how Virginia updates and shares information on its voter list. Governor says that it's part of a transition to a new statewide voter registration system launching next year. Now, those changes include establishing data sharing agreements between state agencies, creating an interagency group to review registration data, and streamlining the process for removing deceased voters from voter rolls, and also creating data sharing agreements with states bordering the Commonwealth. Now, the Virginia Department of Elections will also review its data sharing standards, and according to the news release, these changes will need to take place within the next 90 days. Well, inflation may be changing how you dress. That's because it's causing most shoppers to look for less expensive ways to buy. DC News Now's weekend anchor Ben Dennis is stretching your dollar with donation boxes all across the DMV.
Stores certainly offer deep discounts on those secondhand items, clothes, furniture, kids' games, and more. Step into one Montgomery County store and see extra sales every week. Add to your wardrobe, music catalog,
dishware,
and kitchen cabinets. The many racks inside Rockville's Planet Aid thrift store post pieces of clothes for just a few dollars. Shoes not in short supply.
Ton of shoes. We have an abundance of shoes.
And sticker sales renewed every week.
New fresh merchandise every day. Almost every hour we're pushing out new stuff. So every day there's a sale.
The supply source is large. Drop boxes in D.C., Virginia, and Maryland.
And it's a way to save money, especially now when things are really expensive. Yeah. We still can find a good find here.
And it has to be good condition when it comes to the shelf. So, and also it has to be reasonable price so we don't, price it too much.
According to a survey from ThredUp, 33 million people bought secondhand clothes for the first time in 2020. When the pandemic hit, the secondhand market, they say, could reach $77 billion in 2026. Now you can thrift online. Sites like Goodwill, the Salvation Army, and ThredUp offer markdowns for thrifted prices. And of course, in store across the DMV. In addition to donating to thrift stores, consider trading with community members or donating to shelters. You can also claim a tax deduction on what you donate. Be sure to keep the receipt. In the newsroom, Ben Dennis, back to you.
Thank you. Endless credit card options can offer personalized perks, but also provide stress on which to choose. New consumer advice is helping make the decision a bit easier depending on your needs. And paying off debt could be one of them. And balance transfer cards offer a window of time with little to no interest, and with the goal you'll pay it off by the time the term ends. Otherwise, you may look to some cards for perks. Now, the Consumer's Checkbook recommends asking yourself whether a card will do more good than harm. Also, limit cards that offer low interest rates and don't have annual fees.
certain period of time, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even longer, they won't charge you interest on that new debt. You know, paying down this debt, which is the best thing to do, but if you can't do so right away, do consider transferring that debt elsewhere. Usually the fee that you're going to pay, you know, is going to be a lot less long run than what you're going to pay in revolving interest.
Other ways to pay down your credit card debt. First, call the number on the back of your card and see if you'd be eligible for a lower interest rate. And rein in excessive spending and review any subscriptions you may be paying for unknowingly. Also, consider if there are ways to bring in extra cash. Well, the Virginia Cavaliers are moving on to the College World Series. The team hosted Kansas State in the best-of-3 NCAA Super Regional, with the first game happening on Friday. They won that game 7-4 and then beat them again on Saturday 10-4 to advance. Virginia is in bracket 2 and will play UNC in Omaha on Friday. The time of the game is still to be announced. Happening today, Montgomery County Schools will be hosting a girls' football clinic. And previously canceled due to the severe weather, the clinic will be happening at 5:30 p.m. And the next school year will be the inaugural season for the sport in Montgomery County. And partnering with the Baltimore Ravens and Under Armour, girls flag football will be coming to all 25 public high schools in the county. We talked with a spokesperson for the Ravens, and he tells us how important it is to bridge the gender gap in football.
We live in a world where boys have played for generations, and we've seen in the opportunity to level the playing field and get girls to the field.
Well, the Ravens and Under Armour are providing a grant to Montgomery County that funds the program for 2 years. Washington County and Baltimore Public School Districts are also receiving grants to start girls flag football this fall. Good